Imagine walking into your local supermarket. You pick up a bottle of cow's milk. Then you see goat milk, camel milk, buffalo milk, even yak milk if you're somewhere in the mountains. Everything looks completely normal. But then a strange question suddenly pops into your head. Where's the lion milk? Why isn't there tiger milk? Or wolf milk? After all, they're mammals too. Just like cows. Just like goats. And every mammal mother produces milk for her babies. So why has nobody ever opened a lion dairy farm? Is predator milk poisonous? Would it make humans sick? Or is there another reason entirely? The surprising answer is, it has almost nothing to do with poison. In fact, if someone could safely collect milk from a healthy lioness, it wouldn't automatically be dangerous to drink. So why don't we? To answer that, we need to travel back nearly 10,000 years. Long before supermarkets. Long before refrigerators. Long before cities. Back to a time when humans were just beginning to farm animals. They searched for creatures that could live alongside them. Some animals ran away. Some fought back. And some were simply impossible to control. That one difference changed what billions of people drink every single day. Humans didn't choose the animals with the best milk. They chose the animals they could actually live with. And that decision quietly shaped human civilization. But here's where things become even more interesting. Imagine someone gives you two jobs tomorrow morning. Job number 1, milk 10 peaceful cows. Job number 2, milk 10 hungry lionesses. The answer seems obvious. Almost nobody would choose the second job. But safety is only a tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. Because here's the surprising part. Even if every lion suddenly became as gentle as a cow, humans still probably wouldn't drink lion milk. Why? Because milk isn't made for humans. It's made for babies. And every species creates a completely different kind of milk for a completely different purpose. That tiny detail explains almost everything. Now imagine you're living 10,000 years ago. Your family needs food. You need meat. You need water. And if possible, you need milk. So you look around. The world is filled with animals. Wild goats, buffalo, deer, wolves, bears, lions. At first glance, every one of them seems like a possible choice. But ancient humans weren't searching for the strongest animal. They were searching for the easiest one to live with. Think about a cow. Feed it, protect it, treat it calmly. Most of the time, it stays close to you. Now imagine trying exactly the same thing with a lion. You raise it from birth. You feed it every day. Maybe it even recognizes you. Maybe it even trusts you. But deep inside, a lion never stops being a predator. Millions of years of evolution don't disappear just because humans raised it. And that's a huge problem. Because milking an animal means sitting right beside it. Not once, not twice, but every single morning and every single evening for years. Now ask yourself one simple question. Would you willingly sit next to a lioness that has newborn cubs? Probably not. Because from her point of view, you aren't a friendly farmer. You're a possible threat. And when predator mothers think their babies are in danger, they don't wait to figure out your intentions. They react instantly. That's one of the biggest reasons ancient humans never even attempted predator dairy farms. The danger was simply too great. But surprisingly, safety wasn't even the biggest problem. Think about a modern dairy cow. She produces far more milk than her calf actually needs. That extra milk is exactly what makes dairy farming possible. Over thousands of years, humans kept breeding cows that naturally produced more milk. Generation after generation, milk production increased, until today's dairy cows can produce an astonishing amount every single day. Now compare that with a lioness. She only produces enough milk for her own cubs. Not extra, not buckets, just enough to help 2 or 3 cubs survive. Imagine spending an entire day feeding and caring for one of the world's most dangerous animals, only to collect a couple of small cups of milk. From a farmer's point of view, that would be a terrible business. The risk would be enormous. The reward would be tiny. But even that isn't the biggest difference. Because the milk itself wasn't designed for humans. It was designed for something completely different. A future predator. Now picture 2 newborn babies. One is a calf. The other is a lion cub. Both drink milk. but they don't need the same kind of milk because they aren't growing into the same animal. A calf has a simple future: grow bigger, build strong bones, develop a stomach that can digest grass. Its life will mostly be peaceful. Now think about a lion cub. Within only a few years, it must chase prey, fight rivals, defend territory, and survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Its body needs powerful muscles, fast growth, explosive strength, and that means its mother's milk has to be completely different. Every mammal produces milk perfectly suited for its own babies. A cow makes milk for calves. A goat makes milk for kids. A whale makes milk for whale calves. And a lioness makes milk for future hunters. Scientists who study wild carnivores through zoos and wildlife conservation programs have discovered an interesting pattern. Milk from many predator species usually contains more fat and more protein than milk from grazing animals like cows. That's because predator babies often need dense nutrition to grow quickly between feedings while their mothers spend hours away hunting. That doesn't make predator milk magical or healthier for humans. It simply means it was designed for a completely different baby. Just like baby formula for a human infant is very different from food made for adults. Different bodies, different needs. So, what would lion milk actually taste like? The truth is, almost nobody knows. Very few people have ever tasted it. The tiny samples scientists occasionally collect are used only for nutritional research or conservation work. Sometimes they collect only a few milliliters, far too little for anyone to pour into a glass. And that's exactly where our story takes an even bigger turn. Now imagine opening your own dairy farm. Instead of 100 cows, you have 100 lions. Sounds exciting? Not for long. Before you collect even a single drop of milk, you face a much bigger problem. How do you feed them? Cows eat grass. Grass grows almost everywhere. It's cheap, easy to find, and cows are incredibly efficient at turning grass into milk. Lions can't do that. Every single lion needs meat, fresh meat, every day, and not just a little. An adult lion can eat several kilograms of meat in one meal. That means your lion dairy farm would need another, much larger farm, just to raise enough animals to feed the lions. Suddenly, your business becomes unbelievably expensive. You're spending huge amounts of money on meat, only to receive a few cups of milk. No matter how you calculate it, the numbers simply don't work. Even today, with modern technology, no company could make a profit from something like that. The cost would be enormous. The milk production would be tiny, and every day would involve dangerous predators. No investor would ever say yes. But there's another reason people rarely think about. It's something scientists call domestication. Many people confuse taming with domestication, but they are completely different things. A lion raised by humans can become familiar with people. It may trust the person who raised it. It might even play like a giant cat. But that doesn't mean it's domesticated, because domestication happens over thousands of years, generation after generation. Humans repeatedly breed the calmest animals. Eventually, their descendants naturally become easier to control. That's exactly what happened with cows, goats, sheep, buffalo, and many other farm animals. Lions never went through that process. There was simply no safe way to start. Every generation remained what nature designed, a powerful predator. That's why even today, professional zookeepers never fully trust large carnivores. Not because every lion is aggressive, but because nobody can predict exactly how a wild predator will react. One second everything is calm. The next second, instinct takes over. And that's a risk no dairy farmer could ever accept. So here's the big question. Could humans actually drink lion milk? Surprisingly, yes. If the milk came from a healthy lioness, and it was collected safely and processed hygienically, it wouldn't automatically be poisonous. Being a carnivore doesn't make an animal's milk toxic. Milk is still milk. But just because something is possible doesn't mean it makes sense. There's a huge difference between can we and should we, or even would it ever be practical? The answer is clearly no. Think about everything a dairy cow offers. She stays relatively calm. She eats inexpensive grass. She produces a huge surplus of milk. She can be milked every single day, and humans have spent thousands of years breeding her specifically for that purpose. Now compare that to a lion. It eats costly meat, produces only enough milk for its cubs, protects those cubs fiercely, has never been domesticated, and could seriously injure anyone trying to milk it. It's almost the exact opposite of what farmers need. When early humans began farming, they weren't searching for the most exciting animal. They were searching for the most useful one. And cows won. Not because cow milk is magical, not because lion milk is poisonous, but because cows perfectly fit into human life. Goats did too. Sheep did too. Buffalo, camels, yaks, all of them shared something important. They could safely live alongside humans. Predators never could. Now imagine an alternate universe. Suppose lions ate grass. Suppose they were gentle. Suppose every lioness produced 20 liters of milk every day. And suppose they happily walked into a milking station each morning. If all of that were true, lion milk might be sitting on supermarket shelves today, right next to cow milk, goat milk, and buffalo milk. But evolution had a different plan. Predators evolved to hunt, not to graze, not to produce extra milk, not to cooperate with farmers. Nature built them for survival, not agriculture. The next time you pour milk into your coffee or your cereal, take a moment to think about it. That simple glass of milk represents thousands of years of human history, thousands of years of careful choices. Humans didn't simply discover milk. They discovered the right animals to get it from. Those choices helped create permanent villages. Those villages became cities. Those cities became civilizations. And something as ordinary as a glass of milk quietly helped shape the modern world. So, why don't we drink lion milk? Not because we physically can't, not because it's automatically poisonous, but because raising predators for milk has never been safe, never been practical, and never been sustainable. Sometimes, the simplest answer really is the correct one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating animal mysteries and surprising science explained in simple ways. And before you leave, here's one final question. If lion milk could somehow be collected safely, ethically, and legally, would you try it just once? Tell me your answer in the comments. I'll be reading them, and I'll see you in the next video.